fighting for closing in on 30 years, somewhere around there. I don't remember the exact date.
Dalos and Xion, I think I've been fighting for like 13 to 15 years out of Dragon Spine.
Alright, so to begin with, we'll talk a little bit about distance control. It's important before you even talk about throwing anything that's an opener that you know how to control distance. And the primary thing I want you to take away from this, and most of you have already said it, and most of Amguard, I can tell you from traveling coast to coast and fighting and watching videos all the time, most of Amguard needs it. You have to be able to close sometimes. Like, I'm not saying you have to be like Diego, who closes all the time, or other people like that, but I'm saying like you have to be able to vary your game. Someone said they want a variety. A few people said they want a variety. That's the point. Like, closing's important, but also just knowing when to close is actually the key. Like, the key to closing is actually timing it out, right? If I'm fighting Eric and I go, I'm gonna close now, wrong. Yeah, or really, he's gonna throw a hit. But that's the point. Like, if you just close straight out of the cut on someone, even with good D, it's going to be very easy for them to know what's coming. You haven't really changed any of the situation, right? So what you really want to do when you're talking about range control, what do you think we're going to say?
Opportunity.
Opportunities. What do we have to use to control range? From the fundamental thing you have to use to control range. Move your feet. You have to move your feet. So it's a matter of deciding how I'm going to move my feet. I, in general, say that backing up straight is not a good idea. Mostly that's true. But if someone wants to come straight into you and you know you can counter off, fine, you can do it. You can back up straight. But my point is this. You really want to, more often than not, move laterally with your feet, one way or the other, to start kind of controlling range and distance. Right? So, depending on what I want to do, and you should decide before the fight kind of what you want to do before the fight starts. Not for the whole fight, because like I told you, you need to change it up. But you have to decide, okay, I want to play more of a rangey game with them, I want to play mid, or I want to get close. You kind of decide that for the initial encounter, right? The first back and forth, you decide that before you ever go into a fight. So when you're here, that's when you make the decision, right? And guess what? If you pressed hard into them and you just died, and then you did that 2 more times, maybe that's not the right idea. So that's when you go, okay, I'm going to try to use some range, right? So you change it, right? But from here, you kind of make your decision. And then stance is going to matter in their stance as well, right? So let's talk just a little bit about that. There's another class on stance, but like Eric here is right foot forward, right? That means I know that he can reach me because he's so foot forward. If I'm fighting more foot forward, I know he's got better range than me. Unless my story is longer and the relationship is longer, that's just the reality. So I understand that his effective range is better than mine. So the first thing you pay attention to is effective range. Like here, I'm not worried about him doing anything. My guard is in a good position. I can easily move off and do whatever I need to be done. Y'all will move it this way, talk about that way. So you have to understand effective range, right? And the best way to understand that is with your toes. Your front toe and their front toe will pretty much tell you, because where his arm is, like go ahead and swing something. I mean, I'm not worried about him from here. I can see where his front toe is and my front toe is here, right? And I'm mostly not worried about him from here. He can get something here if he really, really pushed for it. And he really reached for it. I know that just from fighting him. Here, I'm super not worried about him. Like, if he throws anything from here, he's mine. So if I'm playing a range control game, like I've decided distance is what I want to do. I want to fight for kind of long range and make him reach at me. Then anytime he takes a move towards me and this is my distance, I'm going to come off like that. Like I came off this way. Because if I come straight back, now I've given him exactly what he's looking for. His close is better. If I come off this way, now see he's got to adjust. Now I'm kind of comes in the game, kind of steps that way. Wait to get the throw, you can catch them kind of on the end, right? But the toes is the secret. Your toe to their toe, your front toe to their front toe will tell you like where they can hit. So you have to understand where you have forward is where your weaknesses are. If you're right foot forward, well now I know my shoulder's forward, right? So I can't get hit there. My arm is a little forward. So that's just understanding your stance, right? If you're here, your targets are more forward. If I'm here, I'm a little more protected. Yes, I can't reach this well either. So I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying you have to understand, right? So if you're right foot forward, you must understand, okay, I'm a little exposed with my front shoulder. Certainly my legs are a little more out there. My hips is out there a little more. You have to understand that. And so you have to be aware of how am I going to deal with it if he makes a big move for it, right? And of course, what we're talking about here, which is long range. Now we're talking about I want to fight long range. We move off center. You can go left too. There's problems with it, right? You're giving this hip a little bit more, but you can go left. So it's the same thing. If he pushes it on me, I decide this is my range, I can step on here. Now there's a good reason to do that. Great, I have to be very, very cautious of this now because I'm exposing this to him. We all know that's a super popular shot. Exactly right. Right. Not only that, if he decides to reach hard for that, then his shoulders shoot it, right? And I'm going to kind of just move my voice a little bit. So that's what I'm saying. We're controlling range. We kind of want him to do that. If we're moving left, we're inviting him to do it, but we're doing it from our range, not his. We're dictating the distance where the fight happens by using our feet moving at range. So that's kind of long range. That's kind of how you do it. You notice, like, people overcomplicate footwork and they make it this simple thing. What are we talking about here? Slight steps back to the left, slight steps back to the right. That's really all it is. You just have to keep doing it. I can't do it once, right? If he comes to me, I can't go, whoop, and then like, okay, now when he comes, I can't revert back to that. If I want that angle and that range, I have to keep moving right a little bit. And then patience. Patience is the big key, especially for long range. Actually, honestly, patience is the big key for fighting, period. But especially for long range, you want to keep those toes. Where you decide you want those toes, you use your movement to keep that in the same place. And you know, like you can look at their toes and your toes without doing this. So please don't. Dalos told me to do this. I'm going to look at my toes. Now just, you can look at it from here. Right? You can see where it is. You feel it with your hand. You know, it's pretty close to the front. You don't have to stare at it. Just kind of get a feel for where it is. You have everything on long before you want. We'll talk about openers after we cover like how to move the range. I know Eric has some good long range openers, so we will get to openers, okay? Medium range, not something I'm the biggest fan of. However, if you are going to do it, right, I call it the dead zone because you're kind of waiting to die or kill them, right? But more often than not, if you're standing in there, by that I mean, I'm inside of this effective range now. I don't really like sitting here and like kind of a lot of what people will do from here is wait to count, right? So I'm gonna wait for the first one. What am I gonna do? High cross, because that's what everybody loves to do, right? I don't like it just sitting there. I'll say what I do like is if you want to play in this range, it's fine. Again, understand I'm gonna play mid, but I want to create angles. I want to do stuff, and then we'll jump a little bit ahead. Go ahead. Tall. We're fighting against a tall person, right? So, our tall, to some extent. So, real quick, a lot of this is about the opener. Once you kind of start, every fight starts at long, right? That's just the reality of fighting for the most part. When you tap, you should give people their space to start at long range. Some people don't do that, but you should. So here, now you have to decide, okay, I want to move to medium, and I want to fight for medium. What I like to do that, so kind of circle and tighten up. Tighten circle up a little bit of time. You'll notice like when you do that, so you're kind of moving your feet left or right. You just get a little bit closer every time. Because if you do something like this, it's obvious that you're taking a big reaction. Even if he decides that'll be his reaction. If I come forward hard, he'll just step back and then the range is like gone and get back to long. So if you're looking for medium, kind of close it off little bits at a time. bit closer every time. They don't feel the slow burn, right? You get closer and they don't realize.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
So if you keep that stuff, anything occupied and not focusing on the fact that you're picking up on it, it's going to make that even more.
Yeah. If you couldn't hear that in the back, what he's saying is you use your hands to distract them from the fact that you're getting like a little bit closer. So you kind of dip at their shield, you know, you like maybe make little flinch motions, you know, whatever. Anything you get just that little bit closer so you get into that medium range that you need. That's one way. Way number two is you get them to come to you. This is a trick that most people do not use and do not understand, right? If I'm fighting someone and they're insistent on being a backpedal fighter, right? If I'm fighting Eric and he just runs the entire time, then I'm going to get fairly irritated with that very quickly, and I'll do that once. And then the most amazing thing happens. They come to you. It's like magic. They don't understand that suddenly you've tricked them into doing something they don't want to do, but they're like, oh, I have to come forward now. He went backwards. By the way, if someone goes backwards, you don't have to go forward. Just remember that, because this is a good trick. But you don't have to go forward into them. You can make them come back into whatever range you want. If you're controlling range, patience is key. So you just wait if they do this to you. But in general, if you take that step back, even the most committed, most people probably don't know, although he's here, Thor was one of the best people like controlling long range for a long time. I used to trick on him for a very, very long time. He's also one of my company mates. Yeah, we got very good fights. I'm not saying I got the better of him all the time. I ain't saying I got him to come to the ring with me. Pushing him, he jumped back, cocked up the throat, and I stepped back. I was like, oh, I'm trying to throw it now. I need to come forward. You see him get ready, you really want to throw it, you step back and like, oh crap, I'm in throwing mode now. They switch it, something switching their mind. And so they're like, I want to throw, and they'll come forward, right? So you don't have to chase the backpedal, that's my point. Get them to come to you. And then really, the super secret sauce in this whole situation is timing. And you do that by this, right? Watch right here. When I step forward, watch what happens. What did you see? But it comes up, right? It lifts. That's what you're looking for. When they come up and that shoulder lifts, if you counter off of that and then you make your closing motion, you get to short or medium, either one, that's the secret. Like, you see the shoulder lift? Look, I can't go backwards now. I'm stuck coming forwards. Until this foot hits, I literally can't move backwards. So if you time it to where that foot's in the air and you go, they're stuck. They cannot do anything. It's physically impossible for them to move backwards. Look, I can't even really jump backwards very well, right? You can't get a good jump on it. Your foot's in the air, you're already coming forward. So when you see the head come up, the shoulder come up, that's when you know, oh, they're moving forward. And that's when you can make your big movement, right? Now, the second key to that. Right now we're kind of talking about mid-range, but this goes for short range. Your back foot, whichever one it is, you have to slide that thing up, right? Because here, if I want to get to Hidari, I can't really do it, right? This is where I was, right? I'm not trying to trick y'all. Right? I can get her now. You got to get that back foot slid up. Clever people will watch for that, so you disguise it a little bit with movement, right? That same movement we already talked about. You're closing it out. Right? And then, especially when you see they're about to come forward, that shoulder comes up, slide that up. They're coming towards you. Now, boom, your effective range is much bigger than they think because your step is going to be huge. You can get it. So you can get them coming forward, right? Watch for this. Watch for this lift. Right? You can catch them. That's kind of how you get tall people, but anybody, right? Really committed backpedalers, that's how you get them to do what you want.
Yeah, it's the same. But it's the same concept that James was talking about when you are taking that step and unable to do anything but complete that motion. It's the same kind of thing with switching your stance right here, just close. That's what's okay open. So your opponent's probably going to be aware of that too. So they might even feel like, just being aware of the fact that catching people in this weird timing is very important.
So, the last piece to this puzzle for this range is the trick. And you can't tell Noah I told you, because you told me not to tell anyone. But I'm going to tell you all anyway, right? Remember I told you to watch for that step forward? Now, you're jacking with them, right? So maybe this back peddler is like, or people are coming at you, right? Go like this. Put it right back down in the exact same place, right? Because people are keying off of this. That's what they're watching for. They're looking for, oh, my momentum's going forward, right? So they're trying to catch you. They're trying to trick you. So you trick them. You're like, oh wait, now I can move wherever I want. You keep on the back pedal, you take that long range, right? They're trying to wait for you to come forward. You lift to come forward, but you put it right back down. They pushing you, boom, now I'm back to long, back to the range I want.
You're using a feint, basically. You're taking their that way, thinking, oh yeah, they're going to do this, and you don't do that.
Yeah, just a complete body kind of movement. You're not even throwing a shot. You're just like faking what they're looking for. I'm a big fan of, in general, giving people what they're looking for and just making it not work out that well for them. In this case, if they're waiting for my forward move, I give them the keys that they're looking for, right? They're looking for my shoulder to raise, they're looking for my head to come up, they're looking for my weight to shift to my back foot. When I put it right back down, go back to like my 60-40. Sorry, that's weight. 60 on the front, 40 on the back. And then you can move wherever you want off of that. And they have a feeling you're doing this, right? So they're thinking they can't react at all. They're stuck in this situation before. Well, not really. It's not a stomp thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about I raised up to me. Well, kind of so that's the last kind of trick in that space where if you're chasing someone or you're getting them to come to you and you really want to throw and you want them to close into that mid range, it works really well too if you're backpedaling because they're like if you're coming at me and I'm backpedaling, right, and then I like raise up and stop. Now I'm like, look, you're coming up. Yeah, exactly. I act like I'm still stepping, right? But you come in, and I guess that's a good transition into short range, right? You bring them to you. Now, we'll talk about how to get there on your own, but bringing them to you is very, very good as well, right? Letting them close that distance for you, because then you can be in static T, right? And you can close the distance off. So again, this trick is key. Like, I use this a lot on Diego, honestly. Because he likes to press in, and I'll back up from him and get the range I want, and I'll just lift it up. And then he'll press in and not realize that I didn't go anywhere this time. Right? It's a very good trick. Don't tell Noah I told you. He'll be very upset. No, he's not there.
Camera.
Edit that part out. But yeah, so that's kind of how you get, and then like I said, transitioning into short. Again, this motion here is super critical for short. If I want to get to short, I can't get to short like if I'm trying to fight there, for example. If I want to get to short here, can I use this thing? Well, now look what's happened. I'm not in a good position here. I'm like 70-30 on my feet. I'll have to shift my weight before I can do anything. Right? You don't want to take that big lunge to get to short range. Your options are limited, right? I can fight a little bit here, I can throw stuff, but if he decides to take one step back, forward or back, but this goes back. Right now he owns me and I can't do anything until I adjust my feet. So, again, this back foot, whichever back foot's your back foot, I don't care. Like I said, you can be right before you left foot. This back foot's the key. Before I make that closing motion on him, if I slide it up to here where my toe is touching my heel, now, look, my feet are good, my weight's good, if I can adjust, I'm not overextended. I can throw what I want to throw, I can adjust to him. Yes, sir. When you slide your foot up? So, very good point. What I usually do, there's a lot of lateral movement in my fighting. I'm a big proponent of it. If you follow any of my stuff, we talk about footwork, basic framework all the time. So you just guys, so we're going to get into that stuff, right? This is what's going to be close to this. So you bring it up slow. But you can bring it up fast too. I mean, you start playing this against right? You can go like this, fall back into it. When people start watching for that, they'll register. But I can tell you mostly, they're not looking at speed. Like Eric said earlier, too, to distract your top. Like do something like this is not like that, right? No, I'm with you. And no, I would be more than happy to show that. Yeah, people that have tried to show back speed, especially backfire like I'm a pretty motor ground, and I have pretty good center of gravity as well. So if he decides to press the car and chill back, I just feel like, no, give it back. Give it back. Yeah, like something like this. It maybe knock me off a little bit now. Right, lower. You just gotta be careful here. I would take a nice line of road. But yeah, no, I'm not worried about the chill back. And if you see him coming for a hard chill back, don't stop. You have a vicinity. This hasn't been anything. It's just saying I couldn't before. But you have a very fair point. Watch for that, because then you know their effective range has changed, right? From here, you should understand that my lunge range is such, but from here it's a very different thing. So you should watch for it. But I'll tell you, most people don't. You should. Good point. All right, so again, closing short, you want to get here. We disguise that with, we disguise that with movement. Again, to me, right or left. And I'm not talking about, when people first start using movement, they use like these big steps, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about micro transactions, right? I'm talking about small steps, right? It's little, and then notice my back foot's getting closer every time. Oh, now it's touching. Now I have a big lunge rate. They haven't really felt anything change. We're playing this game, we're moving laterally, it's fine. Like, more often than not, they're very concerned about, if I'm moving right, they're concerned about sword side shoulder. Like, oh, he's moving right, he wants to see the sword side shoulder. So that board will creep up, don't worry about that. They won't pay much attention to it. That's one part of it. And two, when you decide to go, again, you want to catch them off. So we use the trick where we we back up. That's one trick. If you're going to press in, which I am a big fan of, not enough of that these days, but you get to this position, I generally tend to like to take the jab step or half step, right? Especially if I think they're going to backpedal. So like, come here, he backpedals, and look how I slide that foot up right with my step. So I'm ready for that pursue step. Now he's backpedal, look at his weight, right? It's hard for him to, again, immediately backpedal, and instead I position to immediately pursue, right? So even if he does decide backpedal, right back. Right, my range is good, and he's going backwards. I caught him. Like, you can't make the same huge backward movement as you did in the first one. So, yeah, that's how it's working here. Time.
It's more natural to back up and get close on and kind of do like a stance switch because you're kind of pivoting off of this one. So after you take that first step, you're still getting close to the foundation, continuing to get crumbled and crumbled until you're right here trying to wait for them to open.
Yeah. So when you're closing, that's the feet. Now, every range we talked about before, keeping your grip like this is fine. You know, you don't need to change anything. But when you close, you need to do that. Now, don't do it ahead of time, because they'll know it's coming, right? The minute I see someone do this, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then I'm like, I know what they're doing, it's stupid, right? So you want to disguise it. One, you can keep behind your shield, right? So you can take that step. Oh, and now I'm already coming, right? Like, see how I just naturally did it without, I wasn't even super thinking about it. I took a right step, I slid my foot up. Now I'm in a closing position where I can pursue, throw the big shot, come over, whatever. But the reason why you do that is because you have more control inside angle. You don't have it down here. Your reach to throw stuff like lower forward or even under here. Everyone throws sword side hip, right? How many people throw sword side hip from here? But if you choke, right? You did? Well, good. If you choke, sword side hip, low. Right? If you choke, it's you take the step. One little step, right? But that's almost 44. One, I'll just give you all this. This is not a drills class, but there's a drill that I have the dojo people do, also put out on One Grind Nation. Touch shields, countdown, start. So your fight has to start with the shields touching. And don't do like the wheel guys did the first time they did it. 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah, don't do that. Like, stay in there and throw shots from inside. That drill will teach you a lot. Do it for 5-10 minutes. Everyone that's done it has loved that drill, and I'll tell you, that drill will teach you, once you're in there, what to do, right? We talked about how to get in there, but that'll teach you once you're in there. That hip is gold. People don't really expect, like, don't be like, oh, this board's in the way, my board's in the way. I don't expect to get hit because they basically close like this, right? I'm not saying you have to stay towards the board, that's the key. You come up a little bit, but you have that inside space. You don't throw, give it back. unless your plan was to fight long, then get back to long because that's what you were wanting to do. Right? Just make sure that what you wanted to do is what's happening in the fight. Control the fight with your feet, control the fight with the movement tricks we talked about, right? The foot tap, you know, the shifts, the back up a little bit, the slide foot forward, like all that kind of stuff will help you. Oh, last one that's really big, really good for all ranges is lead foot switching, right? That's really huge. I should have talked about it in all ranges. When you switch your lead foot, your stance speed, right? Press in on me, and he wants to kick, and I can do it. Right? Or running away from me. I can do it. I step away, right? Range change. You know, more defensive posture now. I see stuff that I would like to throw, right? But you have to be willing to do that, right? I'm pretty committed to show foot forward, but I'm always step short foot forward for at least 3 periods of time to throw. I guess it's the natural part of the throwing motion. Yeah. But just know to switch, right? They're super consistent. Consider keeping long range. The quick way down to the end, if you press it on the card, is that, right? Now look, I've got a big range again. I can shift back. Or if it force my preferred, I can shift back to another. But I'm way back about one big step. And I did not jump backwards right now. Jump backwards. You're in the air. It's like you land there and reach back this way. So, don't jump back. Move off the ground. Regain some range. Especially if you're like stuck. Either raining down on you, you're like, nah, you don't know what to do. Take that big leap so you get some space back. This is a fun thing. Just off of that, that'll make it great.
You don't do that when you're in your red zone, right? Do you cut out?
No, I was just he's throwing shots.
Isn't that an opportunity for people to come to us?
Well, if you were to shift like that, be right here and then shift to the foot, I would move off this way, away from that.
Yeah. Exactly. Again, that's not my own. I'll tell you not to play Street Fighter. Remember that term when you go home and something? I've called it that for years. Like, we were just going back and forth. You know, the dudes on Street Fighter, they fight one line back and forth. This is not fencing. And even fencing, they have more room to move laterally, right? So we want to definitely use like all the space around us. The best way to beat me in a fight is to confine you, right? Like if I'm in the middle of a ditch and I can't move right or left, most of my good stuff is wrong. I have to like then focus on the hardcore defense. I don't like that. And neither should you. But you have to learn to move first. If that's a different situation, there are ways to be good at that. But if you have space, you want to use it. You want to move laterally, right?
That's fine, it'll kind of freeze him up. But if I can just slide past it and I'm right here, all I have to do is hit from there, you know? I'm moving this way, kind of coming up, not, you know, going like that and getting into it. Yeah, I'm just jacking right at that bottom rim of that shield. And it's the same thing with against lefty. So if he's lefty more, and I'm doing this slide up thing and I'm going down, this is really tasting out. All I have to do is just all day when he's swinging at me. And if he doesn't, I'm going to pull right here anyway. If he's pretty tentative about swinging, I can just hit him in the head from there. That one little step.
actually Anatol asked me to start playing with. And I know various people use it, but I found it to be very beneficial, so I want to talk about it a little bit. Is left foot forward, right hand forward, Florentine, right? What do you think I've done here with my left foot forward and my right hand?
Love it.
So my right hand.
Range.
There you go. This man, very good.
I could hear.
The range on my left hand is disguised, right? Because I have it back, it looks like a defending hand. This hand is out forward. Really, for me, I'll tell you, I want to kill with this hand. When you're Florentine, you should definitely learn to use your left hand. Your left hand is your best friend when you're Florentine, right? This hand, it's good. It's your primary hand. It can do some badass stuff. In general, I use it for a setup hand, though, and I want to kill with this hand. Right here, so I'm looking for right here. Very concerned about this. Especially while I'm standing this way. I look how it's one thing set up. I'll kind of give him that. He's like right off my head. I call that fair, right? Step off and go right for that. Again, allowing this here to set it up. You gotta watch that. Don't give them your shoulder in that trade. Really, I don't normally encourage those kind of trades just because they're dangerous, but that one from this stance is pretty good. So if you're in a tournament, it's open, you happen to have picked a look instead of board for some ungodly reason. But again, and you can attack with this, and this is projected out there in space. But the only thing that's really exposed in this situation, right? Your arm to some extent, your shoulder left, right? It's really back. Like when you're in your big face, it's back. Use that movement. You can attack with this, kind of fish out, bam, pop it out. And then throw twice. That's the other. The other key to this being really good is throw twice, because you'll think it's going to be hip and they manage to get their arm down there. They block it, and then if they switch, they have another chance to go two clicks, and you're good. That's a one thing to use off of that. You know, get some stuff. You can do it the opposite, right before left hand forward. A little more squared up for stabs in this situation. But just basically opposite hand, opposite foot. Why I really like this if you're a right-handed fighter is because you'll find that your footwork